Jesus was a left-winger, says, Christian outrage always saddens me. They're always about personal decisions that people make. Well, they're always about the personal decisions that other people make. I was in a Tim Hortons here, a little coffee shop, and a coffee shop that's all over Canada. I mean, you can't, you know, they're everywhere. And I have a tendency to people watch when I'm out in public like that. I like watching people. And these two couples were sitting beside me, and they were talking about, there's a guy, a homeless guy, who's outside the restaurant, outside the coffee shop, on the sidewalk, and he's panhandling. He's asking people that come past for some assistance. And one of these guys, I never give those people money. No, it's their choices is what led them here. They've got to pay for those choices. And his wife, God bless her, said, well, what about such and such and such and such? She named these two young people. And he said, well, I don't know what that has to do with it. And she said, well, they ask for help. Yes, he says, but it wasn't their choices that led them into the situation. It's how the world conspired against them. It's the things that the world dealt them. And it strikes me that when it's people we know and care about, it's the hand the world dealt them. And when it's people that maybe we don't respect, or people we don't like very much, or people we're not comfortable with, or strangers, then that's their personal choice. And the truth is, I think there's a physicist, who wrote an article not terribly long ago where he challenged the notion that any of us ever make an actual choice, but rather all of our choices are determined by the experiences that we've had, by the things that we've learned, by the teachers who have shared with us. All of our decisions are based on all of our decisions are based on the past, and therefore we're not actually making any decisions of our own. We're making the decisions that we've been programmed to make. That there really is no free will. There really is no personal choice. And in some cases, I can sort of see that. I don't know if I've thought it all the way through, but I can sort of see that. There but for the grace of God go I, is that famous line. There but for the grace of God go I. Looking at another person and saying, it's only because I've been blessed that I'm not in their shoes. It's not a bad thing to think. Life has a way of hitting people differently. Life is not fair. Life doesn't take prisoners. It just seems to pound at you. And again, we play the hand we're dealt. And sometimes we're able to play that hand really well. Sometimes it's a great hand. Sometimes it's a really bad hand, and we don't know how to deal with it. But we do the best we can. But I guess in the end, what this all comes down to is, let's be empathetic towards everyone, because we don't know where anybody's come from. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know what experiences they've had. We don't know who their teachers were. We don't know the lessons that they were taught. We don't know what they were taught to value, what they were taught to seek after and to desire. We don't know how they were taught to cope, or how they were taught to deal with difficult situations. We don't know any of that. And so when you see a person who's panhandling, reserve any condemnation. They don't deserve it, because we don't know. And when you see somebody, equally so, when you see somebody who is incredibly successful, reserve your praise, because you have no idea what they went through to get there either. Empathy is such a wonderful thing, right? We talked about it earlier this week, the idea of doubt and faith. Empathy is the practice of asking questions of other people's stories so that we can come to a deeper understanding of who they are and where they come from and what they're about. Amen.